Hi, my friend. Happy Wednesday. Wednesdays we're focusing on the Oh My Stars, even though I will be showing it other days of the week. Definitely, if you haven't worked on it at all since last Wednesday, this is the Wednesday to do it. I have all of my colors set and I am going to sew some star points. So I've got the machine fired up, my Solaris, and we're going to just sew some star points and answer a Q&A question that's related to that. Okay, another question I had recently was about other projects that are coming up, because I mentioned some of the upcoming projects, but I didn't mention every single one. So some of you are like, well, what about this one? What about that one? And of course, all of those are going on that I've mentioned prior on the calendar. So all you have to do is look at the calendar or look at my Quilt Along website. When you go to the Quilt Along website, I love to make quilts. It shows all the upcoming projects, and then it shows all the past projects. And in between those are all kinds of things that are useful information. So these are your guidelines. So you can just go there anytime and check on what's happening. So I thought I would go ahead and put up the red zinger because that is a September project. This is with Karen Griska's. This is Karen Griska's quilt because I haven't made the quilt yet. I made one block. And so this is the quilt, her quilt that she let me, and I can have this while we're sewing it in September and October. It's not going to be super fast, but we will have every week a check-in on working on this. And I'm going to make mine that same size because that's the perfect size for me to hang in my home. Yeah, I might make it one more row. We'll see, because I have 8 million selvages. I mean, I have more than enough to do 800 quilts. So I might just do one more row because then it could sort of hang in here on my back wall sometimes on the other side of the table. So it would kind of fit there. Yes, that is a possible plan. So if you've never gotten your calendar, be sure you go and do that. I usually put out the next month a couple of days ahead of time, so not too far in advance. So right now we are on the August calendar. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh yes, okay, so we're gonna do the Oh My Stars. We're gonna walk through making a star points, tell you about that. Okay, let's do this other Q&A. One other Q&A that I had, which was about, I don't know, you know my favorite number, right? What is it? 800. So 800 of you left me comments saying, why don't I just tape a piece of flannel up there over top of the other thing and then put the new stuff on top of that? Or why don't I make another like board that I could put up there? And those are both valid things. I have never put flannel over top of blocks and things like that. So I don't know how that, a lot of you apparently feel like it pulls off fine. You don't pull everything off of the wall when you're lifting it up. I just can't. I'd have to test that myself because my brain is going, this is going to be a hot mess to take that off, and I'm just going to lose everything anyway, so why don't I just take it down? As far as a board goes, right in the middle at the bottom is a plug, and I use the plug all the time. So I would have to maneuver around the plugs, which is possible, but it can only be so wide. It can't be very wide because I've got tables and containers there, which is less wide at the bottom than what you see at the top. So there's a little bit of challenges there to put another board. And then if I'm not using it, I don't have any place really to store it. So yeah, I will think about that. But that is why I haven't done that in the past, is it just hasn't seemed to be something that'll be workable for me. But who knows? You never know. I mean, the other thing I could give up is my wall on the other side of the table here. Let me, this one, right? Come over here. Ta-da! That wall where I hang a quilt. If I put a design wall there, the only issue with that is that's the view as soon as you open my front door. Right straight down the hallway is that wall. And I really enjoy looking at a finished quilt there. I don't think when I open the front door or walk down my hallway, I will enjoy seeing a partially made quilt all the time. You know, I really enjoy that finished piece there. And then also, because I'm filming as a backdrop for when I stand on that side, it's nice to have something up there that's finished versus parts of something or nothing or one block. You know, I don't know. It's a, you know, it gets rolls into that issue. So anyways, that's where that is. But I appreciate all of your comments, and I will file that and mull it over and think about it. Maybe sometime I'll try a piece of flannel over the top and see if I can lift it without destroying everything on the bottom layer. Oh, wait till the end, because I have something pink and it goes to one of you. Let's sew a star. What I'm going to do is get everything down here because I need to bring the star and some of the surrounding blocks and put them on a design board so that I can work with them easily. So let's take the one on the side. So here we go. So I've got the side one, which if you are looking at the pattern, so I am going to make this star, and you can see points are in the border, so we're not dealing with the border one, we're just dealing with the other three sides of the star. So I have the middle, the top, the side, and the bottom. And this is what I need on the design board. So I've got those units, which will all get star points. And the star points are all cut. So I have all of them for all the stars already cut. So I'll take this and this, and we're going to sit down here at the table and have a little sew. Okay, give me a second. So we're here at my Baby Lock Solaris, and my Solaris and several other of the Baby Lock machines all have a laser guide beam on it, and that is what I'm going to use for sewing on the line. So these are sew and flip stars. You can mark the line in advance, or if you have a machine with the guide beam, you can just use the guide beam. And so over here, let me see if I can get you to see the panel, and I'll scroll into it. So my guide beam is this little bar here. So when I click that on, I turn on the guide beam, and then I want green. It actually has two guide beams, and then I want to adjust the movement of it for a 1/4 inch. And so it's basically the 1/4 inch, or it's like on center for the needle. And that's what I have to do for the foot that I'm using and all that other jazz. So what we're going to do is take one of the squares. So we're going to take a square, put it right sides together onto the patchwork, and sew corner to corner. Now these star points float, and they float both, you know, they don't go all the way to the end, and they float at the bottom. And that makes it sort of fun and easy because you're not trying to sort of match up points and that for these internal points. So we're going to go nice and close in here so that you can see that. But the question I'm going to answer, always check you got right sides together on your star. Can you see the difference in color? So this brighter one is the right side. The other question I had was starting and stopping sewing two pieces of fabric together. One of our friends had never done that and didn't really understand what it was. So we're going to answer that for all of you. And this is how I make all these turquoise and white blocks that I'm working on right now, is that I'm constantly sewing these when I stop and I start, which reduces thread waste and also just feeds everything nicely. So let's see about getting us nice and close in here. All right, you can see my guide beam, and I've got two yellows. If I'm going to change one of them to red, see, and I can change it back to green. And I like the green because the green seems to show up very well. So what I'm going to do is just sew these. I'm going to hold the thread since there's nothing over there right now. I just kind of like to hold on to them. And then go ahead and sew these two squares together, which will become the quilt eventually. And that just locks the thread and holds on to the thread. At this point, I just leave it. I don't pull it out. I trim it off later on. So what I have is I need to go point to point on my block, and I'm not starting at a corner, so it doesn't matter whether I'm going from this side or starting from that side. Either way, I'm going to sew on the line, and that will make 1/2 of my star point. And so that's what I'm doing. Now, I do have to look here. This is a directional fabric, and when I took it off of this design board over here, let me show you. When I took it off the design board, it was on the bottom. So the top of it is correct. Yeah, so here you can see this is the top, and the top was there because I don't want to have these birds sideways that's on that piece of fabric. So I am on the point coming in, and I'm sewing so that this line is always, you can see it's ahead. You can actually manipulate that line as well on the baby lock. You can make it longer. Do you see it's going longer? It can go only so long, and then it's actually further out and leaves a gap, but the line, just a line. So I'm going to go here, and I'm getting this line all the way to the other point so that I don't have to draw a line. There are also other tools that you can use to do that. There are, things that you put on the surface of your bed of your machine that help you do that. But I use the guide beam since that's on my machine. And this one, it doesn't matter. The red fabric is not directional, so it doesn't matter which way I am. Oh, I am going to face it a little bit more, so hopefully my hand isn't in the way too much. You keep it on the side here, and I'm going to go point to point. And when you're doing this, you can just be chain piecing all of these. Do all of the, you could do all the blocks for stars, but then it depends on the color. So I don't want to get the colors messed up. So what I am going to do, there we go, point to point. Let me just show you that. I am going to do them per the coloration of the block so they don't get messed up. So there's point to point, and I will fold this over and then put the other one down. So you have to give me a second to press that. So I have it pressed on here, and I need to trim away the back before I put on the other square. Now, you can do it with rulers. There's little rulers that are special just for the 1/4 inch trim, but honestly, you can cut a 1/4 inch and eyeball it. You really can. You're a quilter. So I just trim it off. And these I will use to start and stop the patchwork. Okay, so here it is. Now we want to put on the other square to the other side. But first I need to do a start and stop block. I'm going to use my Happy Shark that I was working on here and put another turquoise now, because I'm alternating them like this. Turquoise, cream, in a 4 by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and sew him. All right, so now I have my next blue square. I put it on the top here, and I will go from the side. I kind of like when I'm doing them, the second one, to go from the side and then go over top of the seam. Second, start where there's no seam rather than starting where the seam is and then coming over top of the seam. The blue is pressed, the seam is pressed towards the blue. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go right across here, lining that up to the point, and then taking my 2 squares, my 3 squares now, adding the 4th one. So that's my end, so that I can cut away or cut off what I just sewed from the star point. So here is the star point. I will press that back, and then you will have this area here, which is more than a 1/4 of an inch. So when you're doing your 1/4 of an inch seam, you don't have to lock into that point because this is above the 1/4 of an inch. That is getting all the star points done. So we will make a bunch of these for our Oh My Stars this week, and I am going to make the entire star. That is what I will do. So I'm going to go finish up this one to the side so you can see it. give you maybe some inspiration to work on yours. They go really fast. And here is the star put together that is going into this section on the side. And I want to show you up close how the star points work. They float above. That's because these units are a little bit bigger so that I could give you this extra space. And that is the way that I designed it. And it's on purpose like this. And it makes the stars a little chunkier, and it of course makes them super easy to sew because you're not matching any points there. And now how does this look in the quilt? Oh, you want to see the back? A lot of times you want to see the back. Yep, there's my back today. It could look different on a different day. That's not it's not a big concern of mine. Okay, so there is the section. And what I'm going to do is sew all of the star for the quilt. Not out to the border yet. I'm not working on the border yet. We'll do that on a different day. But I want to get all of those stars done, and then I will sew in chunks, like across, like units across, and then sew those rows and make the top. So that's kind of the progress of this, and I'll be doing it as we go along. There are the cutoffs. These are the trimmings that we did, and I will keep these, and I might make a little pillow out of them this time. You could put them somewhere in the border if you wanted. People have done that. Put them on the backing, but I think I'm going to make a little pillow out of all of them. So I will keep all of them, trim them down to whatever the largest size is, which I think it'll probably be a 2.5 inch trim, 2 inch finished, and then see what I can make with them. But I'll tell you that I'll get them trimmed for the next time I show something on it. All right, so I have to tell you about this. This. Now, I didn't buy these together into the kit, but there is a kit that you can get the panel with all of the solids, the Bella solids, and it comes with a fat eighth of all of these colors, and it is 60% off right now. 60% off. It's only like $16 or something. So here is the panel. You don't have to make it into that quilt. I just fold this up and keep it in a Ziploc so that I can reference it if I need to order a solid and want to match it to these. So here is the panel. It'd be cute if you have space in your studio to hang it, and you want to hang it. It'd be a cute bag, just if you're not really interested in having it. But these dots, I mean, it's so cute. Make a really cute tote bag. But the kits are amazing right now. So I know they've been on sale a little bit, so I don't know how many are left, but you want to go and pick that up. And the other thing is I'm doing a giveaway of Lori Holt's new planner in pink, everything pink, because pink's just light red. So let's take a look at the planner real quick, because they're just so useful. She has them all protected. They have kind of a cloth cover on them, which is nice, with the darling bee. And then inside is your planner that has all the things you really need. It's got the two next year's calendars. Then for every month you have a place for notes, maybe what you're going to be sewing for the month. Then your monthly calendar itself. And it's broken down weekly so that you can then do a weekly calendar. So put all your goals, personal goals, priorities, any shopping you have to do. Of course, we want to mark that down. And then, like, if you're trying to keep track of your water or maybe exercise, you could use that for exercise. You could just mark those off. And so each section of the month is color coordinated. There's March and all the way through. So these are super nice. They're well made. They're in a spiral, which is so lovely. And what you're going to do is go over to my website today at the article, and if you're signed up for my emails, you'll be getting that email later today. It's at the link down below here in the description box at YouTube, and answer the question I ask you over there, and you could get one of these. So the Fat Quarter Shop has some to give away. They've given me some to give away, so I am super excited. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.